Well, Steve Arts 89. Well, I wanted to do another video about David Lynch because I did a video with just like my shock of finding out that he'd passed away. And then I did another video about my love-hate relationship with him as a filmmaker because he inspired me to go into film, but then I sort of realised that there was no place in Hollywood for someone with my sensibilities because there was one David Lynch, and that was all Hollywood was going to tolerate. And they sort of let him have his own lane and let him sort of work in the industry, but he was never really mainstream. I mean, yes, he did a couple of films, he got some Oscar nominations, but he did his own thing, and I resented him for Twin Peaks. As much as I loved the show, I resented the return because I feel like he used the popularity of Twin Peaks to get the funding from Hollywood and the freedom to make a TV series, basically a series of 18 Lynch films, or a Lynch film in 18 hours or 18 parts, however you want to look at that series. No matter what it is, it's not the third season of Twin Peaks. And I feel like he kind of bait and switched and bluffed us all, where he basically he took the money for Twin Peaks season 3 and made his own sort of film. So I resented him for that. But I did have a lot of great experiences with his films. I did watch his films just out of interest when they came out, a lot of them, and I thought they were interesting, but I never really returned to them because I didn't really enjoy them. Just because something's great art doesn't mean it's entertaining or enjoyable. And the only time I sort of saw them a second time was when I studied them in film school, when I was studying cinema and studying media. And one of the best experiences I had, though, was after we watched Lost Highway. We'd already been given readings about Lynch, and we watched the film, we screened it, and then everyone talked about it, and we had an hour or so where, we had this amazing experience of thinking we'd actually solved this film, this mystery, and worked it out, and this whole theatre of students with all their knowledge from study in film school all put their heads together and thought they actually worked this film out. And the joke was on us because, like all his other work, there really isn't an answer to anything. There's a lot of people who go into Lynch films and things thinking that there is a mystery that only they can solve, and they go off on their own little adventure that's totally in their head of their own making. And Lynch likes sending people off on those little adventures and just letting them go off, and he just makes up nonsense sometimes just because he knows people will make sense out of it in their own minds and in their own hearts. And that is interesting and clever in its own way, but I personally find it insulting, condescending, and disingenuous, because if you want to create a mystery and give me enough clues that I can work it out if I really try, I find that worthy. If you're just going to create nonsense because you find the nonsense fascinating, people will read into it and just, go into the journeys and turn it into something, that's another thing. But I always kind of resented it. But at the same time, the one time me and a group of people, a room of people, a theatre full of people that I was with, we all thought we worked this film out. It was kind of an amazing journey, and we felt like we had worked it out and we had solved this mystery, and we were really clever, and, no. The joke was on us. Lynch was laughing at us from Hollywood. And part of me gets that, part of me resents it. But I just felt like I was being really negative because he has given me a few, experiences. And I particularly loved Twin Peaks. But the reason why Twin Peaks worked was because David Lynch was constantly reined in by Mark Frost, and it was the combination of the two of them working and trying to actually make a cohesive series in like a Lynch world is why it's so brilliant. And once you removed Mark Frost, and I felt like he sort of was sick of Lynch getting all the credit for Twin Peaks when I think he was mostly responsible for the show being what it was and being good, he's just sat back and said, let's just see how you like your 100% Lynch movie. You're I'm not going to use any of the references to the percent of Lynch that this was going to be that were like drug references. I don't like that they were referring to at the time. I don't want to say them because it's the algorithm. But I felt like we were all bait and switched, and I love him, but I hated him as well. And I want wanted to talk about that, but I just wanted to talk about that specific experience of going down one of those Lynch rabbit holes, and like me and a whole room of people thought that we'd worked it out. And I do kind of get the fun in that, but it's only fun if you don't know. Once you realize, oh, there is no actual answer here, I don't see why you would go on that. Like, why are you hunting for something that's not there? I don't get why. I get the people who don't get that that's what Lynch is doing, why they fall for it. But if you know that, once I work that out about him, it's like I can't submit to any of your adventures anymore. So it's sort of, I have a weird relationship with Lynch, but I do love him, and I do want to I just want to share that. I'm going to go. Bye.